In the warm but dusty evenings of Mbala village, little Nandi sits on the clay floor with her legs crossed, blowing gently on a spoon of hot porridge. She giggles as the steam touches her face. Mama Zawadi sits beside her with a tired smile, the kind that tries to look happy even when her body is too weak. Every night it's the same. One plate, one meal. Mama telling Nandi she already ate at the market. Mama saying she isn't hungry. Mama pushing the bowl closer with a small laugh that never feels real. For a long time, Nandi believes her. But slowly she starts to notice things. Mama swallowing hard when she smells the porridge. Mama's hands shaking when she stands up too fast. On this night, as the lantern flickers, Nandi sees Mama turn away and wipe a single tear. She pretends she didn't notice. She keeps eating because Mama keeps telling her to eat. But the truth sits heavy in the room. Mama is starving so Nandi doesn't have to. Later that night, Nandi lies in bed, staring into the darkness. She hears her mother's stomach growling softly, followed by the gentle humming of a lullaby meant to calm her. Nandi presses her face into the pillow to hide her tears. She understands everything now, even if Mama will never say it. Mama is hungry and she is hurting, but she still sings as if nothing is wrong. And Nandi cries quietly, wishing she could give her mother even a single spoon of comfort. As Nandi grows from a small child into a young girl, she starts to see things she never understood before. She begins to notice the little signs Mama tries to hide. Some afternoons she comes home from school and finds Mama sitting on a low stool, eyes half closed, hands weak from dehydration because she spent the whole day in the sun without drinking enough water. When Nandi asks if she's all right, Mama gives a quick smile and waves her hand like it's nothing. But Nandi can see the truth in her dry lips and slow movements. At night, Mama always gives Nandi the last piece of cassava, saying she already ate. She laughs in that soft, gentle way, but there's something empty inside that laugh. It's the laugh of someone who is hungry but refuses to show it. Nandi watches her mother's thin fingers linger on the empty plate before she quickly washes it clean, pretending there was food there before. Many afternoons, Nandi catches Mama selling small things she owns in the market. One day she sells her own headscarf, the one she loved, just to buy a few vegetables for supper. When Nandi asks what happened to it, Mama shrugs and says she wanted a change, but the sadness in her eyes says something else. People in Sangara market whisper about Mama Zawadi. They say she gives too much, that she works and bends her back like she isn't made of flesh and bone. Some admire her strength. Others feel sorry for her, but they only see the outside. Nandi sees the real picture. She sees the cracked lips, the tired eyes, the way Mama stands up slowly because hunger pulls her down. She sees the empty plates washed quickly so no one knows they never had food. One evening, as the sun sets and the air cools, Mama carries a heavy bundle of firewood toward the house. Nandi watches from a distance. Suddenly Mama stumbles, almost falling. Nandi runs to her, heart racing. But Mama forces a shaky laugh, steadying herself on the wall. She says she's just clumsy, that she tripped on a small stone. But her voice trembles. Nandi looks at her mother's thin arms and feels something tighten deep in her chest. It's a heavy feeling, a painful ache she can't put into words. That night, Nandi lies awake again, staring at the roof as tears slip down her face. Mama thinks she doesn't know. She thinks she hides her hunger, her weakness, her sacrifices. But Nandi knows. Mama is giving away pieces of her own life so that her daughter can grow strong. She is breaking herself slowly so Nandi can stand tall. In the darkness, Nandi whispers a promise only the night can hear. One day she will change everything. One day Mama will not starve for her. One day Mama will eat first before anyone else. And Nandi holds that promise close to her heart, letting it guide her through every dream, every fear, and every breath she takes. When Nandi finishes school, she doesn't rest for a single day. She wakes up before sunrise, ties her worn scarf around her head, and walks to Mabundi town to look for any work she can find. She washes clothes for women who can barely afford to pay her. She sells mangoes under the hot sun with sweat rolling down her back. She scrubs storerooms until her fingers wrinkle from the water. Some days she walks so many miles that her feet blister and bleed, but she keeps going. When the pain gets too much, she laughs out loud just to stop herself from crying. People watch her rushing here and there, moving faster than anyone they have seen. They start calling her Nandi the Storm, teasing her for her speed. But she doesn't mind. She thinks only of Mama. Every coin she earns, no matter how small, goes into a rusted tin she hides under her mattress. At night she shakes it softly, listening to the tiny sound of hope inside. Then she whispers the same words she whispers every night. For Mama. Those words keep her going on the hardest days. They make her feet move even when she is tired enough to collapse. One afternoon, while she is cleaning behind a small restaurant, the owner watches her from the doorway. He sees the way she works, how she never complains, how she never stops moving. He calls her inside and asks if she wants a real job. Nandi thinks she misheard him. A real job? In a kitchen. She nods quickly, her hands shaking. The pay is little, but to Nandi it feels like a miracle. She trains under the head cook, watching every move, learning recipes by heart, smelling spices she never imagined before. She takes notes on scrap paper and hides them in her apron. Each day she learns something new, and her dreams grow a little bigger. She begins to love the sound of knives chopping, pots bubbling, and customers laughing. For the first time, she feels like her future isn't just a distant hope. It is right in front of her, hot and real like the steam rising from a stew pot. One night she walks home long after the moon has risen. Her legs ache, but her heart is warm. She slips quietly into their small house and finds Mama asleep on the mat, curled up like someone who carries too much pain in her bones. Nandi kneels beside her and gently touches her mother's thin hand. She whispers, so softly that even the night has to lean in to hear, "Mama, the days of empty plates are almost over. I promise." As she says it, her throat tightens with fear, fear that she may fail, but also with hope that feels stronger than the fear. Mama shifts slightly, still half asleep, and murmurs Nandi's name with so much love that it breaks her heart. Nandi presses her face into her apron and cries quietly, letting the tears fall where Mama can't see them. She knows she must succeed. She must, for the woman who starved so she could live. A few months later, while Nandi is sweeping the back of the restaurant, she notices a piece of paper stuck to the wall. It's an announcement for a cooking apprenticeship in Kaziba City. She reads it once, then twice, her heart beating faster each time. It feels like a dream someone left there just for her. A chance to learn real cooking, real skills, real opportunities. Something almost no one in her village ever gets. Her hands shake as she imagines what this could mean. She runs home that evening breathless and tells Mama everything. Mama listens with wide eyes, and then she laughs, a bright, proud laugh that fills their little house with light. But soon her laughter breaks into tears, and she hides her face in her shawl because she doesn't want her fears to stop Nandi from reaching for something bigger. But the truth is heavy. Getting to Kaziba costs money, more money than Nandi has ever seen. Still, she refuses to give up. She works double shifts at the restaurant. She washes clothes before sunrise and sells mangoes after sunset. She barely sleeps. She sells the few old clothes she owns, the ones she kept for special days. When that still isn't enough, she takes a loan from a neighbor, promising to pay it back with the future she hasn't even reached yet. Day after day, she pushes herself harder. Her feet ache constantly. Her hands stay swollen from work. Her eyes burn from lack of rest. But she doesn't slow down, not even when her body begs her to stop. She keeps thinking of Mama, of all the nights she went hungry. She thinks of the promise she whispered in the dark. Then one afternoon, while carrying a tray of plates through the restaurant hallway, everything suddenly tilts. Her vision blurs. Her legs shake. And before she can call out for help, she collapses on the floor. The head cook rushes to her side, shouting her name. Nandi lies there trembling, her breath thin and broken, tears rolling down her cheeks because she knows she has pushed too hard and she's terrified she's losing her chance. They take her to the clinic, and when Mama arrives and sees Nandi lying on the stretcher, something inside her breaks. Her sobs fill the entire corridor. She grabs Nandi's hand and cries out, "Take me instead," again and again, her voice shaking so much that people stop in the hallway and stare with heavy hearts. That night Nandi wakes slowly, feeling Mama's hands wrapped tightly around hers. Mama is praying, whispering shaky words through tears. Nandi gives a small, tired laugh and tries to comfort her. She tells Mama she will keep trying, no matter what. Mama kisses her forehead gently and whispers that she is proud, even if Nandi never leaves the village, even if she never reaches the city, even if all she ever does is stay by her side. But as Nandi closes her eyes again, she knows deep inside that she must go. She has to try. She has to fight, not just for herself, but for Mama, for the woman who gave everything so she could dream at all. When Nandi finally reaches Kaziba City, she carries almost nothing with her. Just a tiny bag, a heart full of determination, and the old scarf Mama repaired so many times it looks like a patchwork of love. The moment she steps off the bus, the city hits her like a wave. Cars honk non-stop, people rush past her, smoke hangs in the air, and tall buildings make her feel small. For a moment she wonders if she made a mistake. But then she remembers Mama's trembling smile and her own promise, and she forces her feet to move. Her first weeks of training are rough. She burns rice until it sticks like glue to the pot. She mixes ingredients in the wrong order and ruins whole batches of stew. One day, while trying to carry a large pot, she slips and spills hot stew all over a supervisor's shoes. The man bursts into laughter and her face heats up with embarrassment. She apologizes again and again, feeling like she should crawl into a hole. But instead of yelling, the staff encourages her to keep trying. So she does. She learns fast. She studies every recipe like her future depends on it because it does. She practices holding knives the right way. She tastes spices again and again, trying to understand their balance. She laughs at herself when she makes silly mistakes, but there are days she goes back to her small room and cries quietly into her pillow. Still, every morning she gets up with Mama's face in her mind, and she tries again. Months pass and something changes. Suddenly, the same people who watched her struggle now watch her shine. She becomes one of the strongest trainees in the program. Her food starts to draw attention. One afternoon, a visiting investor comes to the training kitchen. He tastes her coconut-spiced stew, closes his eyes, and smiles in a way that makes Nandi hold her breath. He calls it unforgettable. That one word opens a door she has been praying for. Soon after, she gets hired at a popular eatery in Kaziba West. It's busy, loud, and always full of customers, but Nandi feels at home there. People start requesting dishes she made. They ask, "Who cooked this?" Staff members point to her, and the pride she feels makes her chest warm. Her salary grows slowly but steadily. She can finally buy better shoes, a warm blanket, and small gifts for herself, things she never imagined owning. Her confidence grows too. She laughs louder now, the way she used to before life became so heavy. Her coworkers love her energy and call her a rising star. Every time she sends money home, Mama calls and starts crying before she can even say hello. She keeps whispering how proud she is, how grateful she is, how she prays for Nandi every night. And Nandi listens, smiling with tears in her eyes, knowing she is finally giving back a little piece of the love that raised her. Years pass, and Nandi works day and night in the busy city kitchens until her savings finally reach a number she once thought was impossible. She counts the money again and again, her hands shaking with excitement. She knows exactly what she wants to do. She wants to go home. She wants to cook for the woman who spent years pretending she wasn't hungry. So she packs her bags, wraps Mama's old mended scarf around her neck, and takes the long trip back to Mbala village. When she walks into the village, the reaction is immediate. Children run to her with loud laughter, pulling at her clothes, surprised by how strong she looks now. Women stop peeling cassava to stare. Men pause their work and nod proudly. Elders lift their hands to bless her, saying she walks like someone who has fought many battles and survived them all. Everyone celebrates her return, but Nandi only looks for one person. Mama stands in the doorway of their small mud house, frozen, as if she's afraid Nandi will disappear if she blinks. Her hands tremble at her sides, and her eyes fill so fast that tears fall before she even moves. Nandi walks toward her slowly, her smile shaking, her heart full. When she reaches her, she wraps her arms around Mama, holding her as tightly as she can, as if trying to make up for all the years they lost. Mama cries into Nandi's shoulder, whispering her name again and again. That evening, something magical happens. Nandi sets up a small cooking space outside the house. She lights the fire, mixes spices, and cooks dishes Mama only dreamed of. Rice that smells warm and comforting. Fish stew rich with coconut and fresh herbs. Soft chapati that tears gently in the hands. The whole village gathers around, watching the smoke rise and waiting to see what Nandi is creating. She arranges the plates carefully like she's serving a queen. Then she carries the first plate to Mama. She places it gently in front of her. Mama stares at it, covering her mouth with both hands as tears fall nonstop. She has never seen so much food on her plate, not once in her life. Her body shakes with emotion. After a moment, she tries to push the plate back toward Nandi, the same way she did when Nandi was a little girl. But this time Nandi pushes it right back with a soft, shaky laugh. "Mama," she whispers, her voice breaking, "please today you eat first." Mama can't speak. She picks up the spoon slowly as if her hands might fail her. When she takes the first bite, she breaks completely. She cries so hard she has to hide her face. Her shoulders shake. Her breath comes in little gasps. And Nandi, sitting beside her, cries too, wiping Mama's tears with the edge of the old scarf she once repaired. Outside, the whole village watches in silence. Some cover their hearts, some wipe their eyes. Some whisper soft awe sounds at the sight of a mother finally eating because her daughter made sure she could. It's a moment they will never forget, a moment that feels like healing, a moment that feels like love finally served warm. As the weeks go by, Nandi's tiny stall begins to draw people from all corners of Mbala village. At first, it's just a few curious neighbors tasting her fish stew or buying chapati on their way to the fields. But soon the crowd grows. Word spreads that Nandi cooks with a kind of love that you can feel in every bite. People say her food tastes warm like home. Some say it tastes like hope. Every morning she wakes before sunrise to light the fire, mix spices, chop vegetables, and prepare pots big enough to feed a crowd. She works with the same energy she carried in the city, but here it feels different. Here it feels like she is pouring her love back into the soil that raised her. Before long, she realizes that her little stall is not enough, so she expands it piece by piece. She uses her savings to add a bigger shelter, more tables, and a place for people to sit. She decides to turn it into something much bigger than a stall. She names it the Mbala Community Kitchen, a place where anyone can walk in, sit down, and eat without fear of being turned away. She hires local women who struggled to find work, giving them a chance to earn money and learn new cooking skills. She teaches teenagers who once roamed the village with no direction, showing them how to cook, how to clean, how to manage customers. Some of them come secretly with empty stomachs, and she makes sure they leave with full plates. Elders who cannot pay are served first, without any questions. Nandi never lets anyone leave hungry. She says hunger makes a person feel invisible, and she wants no one in her village to ever feel that again. She believes if Mama could starve quietly for years so Nandi could live, then she can feed these people loudly and proudly. And that belief becomes the heart of her kitchen. Every morning, Mama sits at the entrance on a small wooden chair, greeting people with a shy smile. She wears the scarf Nandi bought her, even on hot days, because she says it makes her feel important. Customers stop to greet her, calling her Mama Zawadi of Mbala. Some tell her how proud they are of Nandi. Others thank her for raising such a strong daughter. Mama always wipes her tears quickly, pretending it's just dust in her eyes. But everyone knows she is crying out of joy. She sits there from morning till evening, watching her daughter serve food, watching young people learn, watching elders leave with full stomachs. Every day she looks at Nandi like she is witnessing a miracle. One afternoon, a reporter from Kaziba City arrives. He heard about the girl who left with nothing but a dream and returned to feed an entire village. Nandi stands in front of the camera nervously, twisting her fingers, laughing awkwardly when they ask questions. But when the reporter gently asks, "What pushed you to build this kitchen?" Nandi freezes. Her eyes fill with tears and she tries to speak, but the words come out shaky. Then she whispers, "My mother fed me with love when she had no food for herself." And just like that, she breaks down crying in front of the whole crew. Mama watches from the doorway, her own tears falling freely. The interview ends with both of them wiping their eyes as the reporter records everything. The video goes viral within days. People from cities and villages send messages saying they were moved by Nandi's story. Donations start pouring in, some small, some huge, all given with love. Nandi is shocked. She never imagined strangers would care about her village. She uses the money carefully. First, she renovates their home so Mama can finally live comfortably. She installs a proper fridge in the kitchen to store ingredients safely. Then quietly she begins building something she has dreamed of for years, a real bed for Mama. When the bed is finished, with a soft mattress and clean sheets, Nandi leads Mama into the room. Mama stops at the doorway, her hand on her chest, her mouth trembling. She walks slowly to the bed and touches the mattress like it's something precious, something she never believed she would own. Then she sits on it and lies down gently, as if she's afraid it might disappear. Tears roll down her cheeks, and she covers her face with both hands. She sobs so deeply that it shakes her whole body. Nandi sits beside her and wipes her tears, laughing softly to hide her own. She calls Mama dramatic, teasing her just a little, but her voice cracks because she's fighting not to cry too hard. In that moment, Mama is no longer the woman who starved so her daughter could eat. She is the woman resting, safe, comfortable, honored. And Nandi feels a quiet peace knowing she is finally giving her mother the life she deserved all along. Nandi wakes early that morning, her heart beating fast with excitement. The whole village gathers outside the Mbala community kitchen, whispering and smiling as they wait. A wooden plaque hangs on the wall, covered with a small cloth. Mama stands beside Nandi, holding the edge of her scarf, already wiping tears she hasn't even shed yet. When Nandi gently pulls the cloth away, the words appear like a sunrise. Zawadi's table, no one eats last. The crowd gasps softly. Mama reaches out with shaking hands and touches the carved letters as if making sure they're real. Tears roll down her cheeks before she can even say a word. Her breath trembles and she tries to speak but can't. Nandi steps closer and wraps her arms around her from behind. She rests her chin on Mama's shoulder and whispers, "This is for you. You fed me with love when you had nothing else." Mama covers her mouth with her hand, crying harder. The people gathered begin clapping. Children jump excitedly. Some of the elders lift their hands to bless the two of them. A documentary crew filming the event asks Mama to speak. She tries again, her voice shaking like a leaf. Finally, through heavy sobs, she says, "I used to starve so she could live. Now she feeds the whole village." The crowd erupts in applause. Mama laughs and cries at the same time, wiping her face again and again with the corner of her scarf. Nandi holds her tighter, her tears falling freely. They sit together at one of the tables with warm plates in front of them. For the first time in her life, Mama eats first, honored, loved, and surrounded by the same care she once gave away without hesitation.